Welcome to MJ Hobby Corner. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. I'm Martin, this is Julie, and this is our little special little edition of MJ Hobby Talk, where we've decided that we would do something a little different for this episode. And we thought that we would go back and just look at some of the most prominent scratch builds, and you guys will see the scratch build collection that I've amassed in 2021.
And it's quite a massive collection. That's awesome.
And this is not counting terrain projects. We didn't count any terrain projects. This is just the models and the sculptures. And some of these things you guys have seen in some of my games. So what do you think, Julie?
About
the collection.
I think it's awesome. I mean, they're different, and it's a lot. You did a lot. You put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, now that I look at it, it's like I'm looking at that shelf, and it's like, holy cow.
For sure.
And one of the most famous of those models that I made was Ernie. And we'll see Ernie. If you don't know who Ernie is, he is the clay Indrik I made for Julie, and he showed up in our Oathmark games. So
quite a bit.
Well, why don't we start showing the collection, and we'll start with Weird War 2 and clothespins.
Clothespins.
Okay, so for our first models, we're going to look at Weird War 2.
Yep.
And this is my latest scratch build. This is an aircraft Walker hybrid.
Yes. Really cool. Yeah. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, this is common in Robotech. And this is the painted version of the model, and it is a Russian model. So this is the first of my Russian army.
Okay.
All right. And you can see there's the Walker section, and this is all made from clothespins.
Right, which is really cool.
And tin, from tin cans.
Yes.
Right, so there it is.
It is really cool.
So
I like that part of it, too.
Yeah, I can remove the plane, and it's an actual plane.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, this is my latest one. This is a Centaur mech for the Allies, and it's the largest mech that I've built in this series.
It's pretty big.
It is big. And it has a big gun, a couple of big guns.
Big guns. Yes, it does. Well, that was pretty cool. I really liked those. Those were nice.
You liked it. And hopefully maybe we can get a two-player game. Remember, I started this collection because Julie and we thought it would be cool to do a D-Day invasion where Julie plays the Allies with those scratch builds, right? And I made some landing craft. And then Julie's going to be the invader, and I'm going to try to defend the beachhead, right? So that was the reason why I started that collection. As you guys have seen, it branches off into many vehicles.
Yeah, it kind of became a thing of its own.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
project
just,
of its own.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now for the next thing that we want to show you guys. And this is we're going to first, the very first thing you'll see is a picture of all the scratch builds across the table. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, oh my God, this was a lot of these things. Some of these things are very old and not from 2021, but most of these projects you'll recognize from videos that I did in 2021. So a lot of these scratch builds are new, this year. So, all right. Some thoughts, Julie? Any thoughts?
No,
Are
I'm
you
just
good?
excited to see the rest of them. Come on.
All right, let's do it. So now we're moving into the major collection. Okay, and so there's a view of the entire
look at
collection.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
So this was a video that I was going to put up. I never did.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why you see my hand in the way. But here are some of the Navy ships that I've made.
Really cool.
And that's all foam.
Yeah, that's amazing to me. You would never know.
And I was just kind of describing, there are some of the Weird War II models. And this ship actually
cool.
got quite a few comments.
I love those little planes.
The little airplanes, right? Those are made out of tin can, out of a tin from tin cans. And then we have the foam starships. Okay, and if you remember, this was our game of FTL, and that was a perfect example where we used these scratch builds. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool.
So there's the collection of foam starships, and I should have more in 2022. I'm going to do a little bit more work with this.
You like working with foam?
I do.
What do you prefer, that or clothespins?
That's a good question. I think both have their benefits. I think the foam is a lot easier.
Okay.
Foam is a lot easier, but the clothespins are a lot sturdier.
Right. So there's pros and cons to each. I guess.
Yeah. You can make some really cool looking foam models. And if you strengthen them correctly, they're good, right? Like we've played those games with them. But these scratch builds with the wood are definitely a lot harder, a lot stronger. Right? That was an armored car that I showed.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's quite a few builds here. These are little jets made out of tin. I would like to do more with that, like tiny little jets.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it so small. So small.
So talking about clothespins, these are my clothespin designs, and this were the very first clothespin models that I made.
Really?
Yep. These were all like tanks, and there's like a gun carrion.
Yeah, I remember when you made them.
Yep, and those were the very first models I started with. Then I branched off into starships. And this was for the game Infinite Dark. I have a battle report with these starships. So that was cool.
For sure.
Now, you and I have never played with the clothespin starships.
No.
This is another clothespin ship, but this has a whole different technique to it.
Yeah, well, you can tell it's different, but it's really... interesting.
Yeah, and it's very intricate, very detailed.
Yeah.
They take so long to make, though, that I didn't really expand that project.
I see.
But we're back with foam, and I did some 40K vehicles for those guys that remember. I put a video on this. I should be in the 40K playlist. Yeah, Lehman Russ and Julie, we never got to play with these.
No, we didn't.
So maybe in the future.
Well, there's always 2022.
That's right. We have a lot of plans for 2022.
That's right.
Some helicopters, which we were supposed to use in Horizon Wars. And I think you used a couple of these jets in Horizon Wars. Yeah, those camouflage jets. So that was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we're going to see. There's the collection again.
There it is.
Look at all that stuff.
It's a pretty nice size collection.
Yeah.
For 1 year.
For 1 year. And imagine what we'll have in 2022.
Yeah.
So now it's time to start using a lot of these.
Yes, that's true.
So what do you think about using scratch builds in the game? Do you find them different? Do you find them, I don't know. Is
I
there
think
anything?
it makes it better.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're connected to them more because
Right.
you made them and
right,
I don't know. It makes the game better. It just
right.
gives it more layers.
So these are paper models. I used to do a lot of work with paper models, and we may have a paper model video in 2022.
Oh, okay.
And I'll show how I made this mech. I did not make myself. I downloaded that from a website, but I did add all the details. That's what I was talking about there. But you will see more on paper models and how I made my own paper models.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we got the giant bugs.
Yeah.
Giant bugs.
Ew.
And lots of sculptures and submarines for deep wars. You can see those gold submarines.
Ooh, I like this one.
Ah, the bugs.
Yeah. Well, I don't like bugs, but that one in particular is pretty awesome.
Well, this was a game of 5 leagues that I just put up not too long ago. And the bug was a scratch build, the spider. I wanted to have a different spider, so I made one. And then this inspired a whole new project. So guys, I have bugs made out of pistachio shells and clay. I'm going to have a little video how I actually made these bugs with the pistachio shells.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a centipede.
I love the ones with the pistachio shell.
Yeah, that's all pistachio
It's so
shells.
Cool.
And wire and clay. Okay, and here are the beetles.
Mm-hmm.
And a
like
large
that one.
ant.
I like that one.
Pistachio shells. And
Yeah.
this is my new bug army, all handmade
Wow.
out of Procreate clay.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see in a minute how small these guys really are.
Mm-hmm.
These are ant-men.
Okay.
And there's quite a few of them. I made like 7 of them. And then there's it looks like an Umber Hulk. It's just a big bug.
Okay.
But look at all the little soldier ants.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the process of painting them and finishing them. Now each of these bugs took about 4 hours to make.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, look at that.
I like it. I really do. They're cool.
And then here, you can see them against 1/72 scale models,
Right.
humans, and you can see that those bugs are a nice size. Those are
Oh,
big
yeah.
soldier ants.
Yeah, they're bigger than the soldiers.
Well, not so much bigger, but they're a
Well,
little
yeah, a
stockier.
little bit.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to run into soldier ants like that.
No, thank you.
Now, these are humanoid ants, so they are
Of
kind of...
course they are.
Yeah, they're standing erect
Yeah.
somewhat. But I'm also making some Deep Wars sea creatures with pistachio nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And there you can see the pistachio and the big box crab.
Right.
Okay, and pistachio nuts and wire. And there's the spiders.
That is so cool.
They also were made of pistachio nuts and wire. I mean, not the nuts. I'm so sorry.
The shells.
The shells.
Right.
The pistachio shells. Yeah. I cleaned the shells and then I used them to make the bodies of the creatures. It saves on clay, really.
Well, yeah. And in most cases, it's like the exact right shape. It just looks perfect.
I made 10 different things out of pistachio shells.
Wow.
And these are my lizard men. And, of course, I'm painting these. So hopefully you'll see in 2022, you'll see an update on these guys.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Yeah, I'm really trying to paint them so that we can have some games with these 15mm dudes.
And howda.
The howda.
The howda.
There will be plenty more howdas. Howda. Yeah, I love that word.
Yeah, me too.
So, at night, as you guys know, I've been experimenting with light effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be doing more with light effects so that we can play at night. We can play under the water.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was going to say that.
In storms, you know.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I'm going to be doing...
It looks so cool.
Yeah, it does. And it's a very simple effect.
Mm-hmm.
So we hopefully will play some Weasel Tech very soon. and here's our Admiral Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
He's our Yoda with his little Christmas sweater.
Yeah, it's pretty Christmas sweater.
So,
Yeah.
so there were all the scratch builds in just a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
All the work that I did this year, hopefully a lot more work in 2022. I have a lot of big projects that I'm planning. Not a lot of big projects, but certainly a couple of really big projects coming. And I don't want to say too much about it now, but that's something that's coming early 2022. And some projects that I hope will make some interesting games.
Sounds good.
What did you think of the collection?
I thought it was a lot bigger than I would have guessed it was. I thought it was great, and I can't wait to see what more you do.
What more? Yeah. So those pistachio bugs, I may have a video this week showing how I made those little bugs and what my plans are for that new bug army. All right. I've always liked using humanoid bugs, like especially in like D&D and things like that. And we were thinking of playing Dungeons and Dragons. We've been talking about that with our friends.
About that, yep.
Yeah, so all these like bug critters and all that stuff, it's going to go great in a D&D campaign. So all right. Well, that was all for these scratch builds.
What do you have coming up this week?
Oh, yes, I know. We were going to talk about that. So this week, the last week of 2021, I'm doing a lot of wrapping up. So I'm basically finishing a lot of projects. And we want to have a game. Julie and I are thinking that the game we have chosen is Oculus Spear, Rain in Hell, co-op game. So Julie and I will join forces for once. You won't see her beating the crap out of me. And we will play against the game. And this way in Rain in Hell, we will have 2-player games. We'll have the solo game that I've already played. And then now the co-op game. So it'll give us examples of all the different ways you can play Rain in Hell. What do you think?
Oh, I'm excited.
So you think that's a good choice then?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's our choice of game for the end of month. And remember, as soon as 2022 comes in, we will have a poll and people will get to vote. So for those first 3 weeks of the month, people will get to vote on the games that they want to see. And then we will vote. We will choose the final game of the month. I think that's how we're going to do it. So,
yeah.
You cool with that?
I am cool with that.
You cool with that, Admiral? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I think he approves. He approves.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we will see you. We won't say Happy New Year just yet. We will see you guys in a couple of videos before. This is going to be a very short week for me again. And, New Year's Eve, we always visit my family. It's my mom's birthday, New Year's Eve. So I'm taking off. And Friday, Saturday, you probably won't hear from us. And then, but we will have stuff to upload. Yes. And, of course, we will want to wish everyone a very happy and safe New Year. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get this week going. We got a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do.
Have a great one, guys. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you liked this brief summary of all those scratch builds. And there are more things I never even showed. I mean, we never even showed a lot of the terrain. So.
And there was a lot of terrain.
A lot of terrain projects. Maybe I'll have another video.
Yeah, I think you should.
Where I recap the terrain projects because they were very important too. So this is a scratch building channel, basically. So. All right, guys. Well, Yoda's getting impatient. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. This has been Julie and Martin and Yoda.
Signing off.
Signing off.